Hello, my name is Thomas Mobley, and I'm doing a review over The Martian for English 112 with Mr. Reynolds. The Martian is a movie that I originally did not plan to like. It's a movie about an astronaut on a planet that got stranded and left behind by his crew. Didn't sound like a very interesting movie whatsoever. To start, IMDb has the movie as produced in 2015. It has Matt Damon as Watney and Jessica Chastain as Commander Lewis. Commander Lewis and Watney were caught in a storm in the beginning of the movie with the rest of their crew, and they had to make a decision when Watney was hit by a satellite during the windstorm, and they lost track of him in the windstorm and they couldn't find him. Commander Lewis had to make a call if they should go back for Watney or if she should save the rest of the crew. With a hard heart, she had to make the decision to leave Watney behind, and he was presumed dead. The rest of the crew did make it out of the storm. After a few minutes in the movie, you do find out that Watney did live, but his suit was punctured, and he did have to find his way back into their safe house. At their safe house, he had to start rationing food. He had a food for a whole crew instead of just for himself, since the rest of the crew left the planet. But another mission wasn't planned for 4 years. So he had to ration what came out to be about 400 days worth of food to roughly 4 years, which is, of course, the math doesn't add up there. So what happened is Watney was the botanist of the group, the scientist. So being the scientist, he thought of a way to make Mars soil fertile, if you will, and he had potatoes that he planted that were in their meals. So of course it sounds crazy, and you have to think, where does the water supply come from also? If you watch the movie, you find out. I don't want to spoil it for you, but the science that is in this movie is absolutely amazing. So after Watney gets a food supply, makes the fertile soil, and is able to sustain it, he has enough food. Now the issue is he has to find communication. He is thousands of miles away, or possibly millions, from America, from the world, and he needs to get in touch with NASA to let them know that he's still alive. So after getting the food supply, getting settled, getting his head about him, his next mission is to communicate. And he's not able to communicate immediately like you would think because, again, he was hit by the satellite during the windstorm. So there was no communication to the outside. After a long mission, he is able to find a way to communicate. And he does, in fact, get in touch with NASA, but it is in a very old fashioned way that takes quite a while to actually get in touch with them and get a response. So the catch here is this movie. They Once he gets in touch with NASA, he has to find a way to get home, and NASA has to be willing to agree to try to make it a shorter than 4 year term before he gets stuck on this planet for so long. And they do end up contacting the crew months later and telling them that their member is alive and that he did not die in the storm. So now that he is alive, they have the decision of coming back to save him or if they wait for the next mission to go and save him. And after they come to a group decision that they will save Watney, it is their chore to save him, figure out a way to get him to their destination point in time, and go against the laws of physics, really, to get him back on the ship. The catch here is there is a lot of science to this movie. There is some things that aren't believable, there are some things that are, but this movie had my attention the whole way through. It is an excellent movie. If you do like science, in particular botany, you will thoroughly enjoy this movie, and you will learn a lot, and you will see some things coming that are pretty funny too. Um, the RogerRebert.com says the most fascinating thing about the film is how it leans into predictability rather than a show of fighting it. You can see the things that are coming, but it still is a fantastic movie. There is even a sarcastic moment, like I said, that you see things coming, and Watney even says, in quotes, "I am going to science the shit out of this." Excuse my language, but it is a funny, funny quote. And when you see the movie, it makes a lot more sense. And The Guardian states, "This is first of as many self-help survival discoveries that find Watney entertainingly facing up to the challenge of not dying. When he figures out to make those potatoes and take the more soil in a way to get a lasting supply of water on a planet that has no water, it is an amazing feat." And Watney's quote is that if you do the math, you solve a problem, and then you solve the next. If you're not able to solve a problem, you're going to die. So you have to work until you can solve that problem. And that is the great thing about this movie is if you're a handyman, you're going to enjoy it because you're going to see the makeshift things that he has to make for this film. And if you want an action movie, there are parts of the movie that are action. It's going to keep you glued to the screen, but it also has a detailed storyline. Unlike a lot of action films today. A lot of action films today, you just know that it's going to be fight after fight after fight. If you're a family man, you'll certainly enjoy the film because you have to think about how hard it would be to be away from your family for years, potentially, when you get stuck. And it does take hundreds of days for him to be saved in this movie. Again, I highly recommend this movie. I think it's a great movie, and I wanted to hate it from the beginning. But I think you'll agree with me by the end that it has a great storyline. Thank you.